The AFC West was already a solid division in 2021, as they of course had the two-time defending conference champion Kansas City Chiefs, led by one of the best quarterbacks of our generation in Patrick Mahomes, and a solid contender in the Las Vegas Raiders, who went to the playoffs last year despite anything that could have went wrong for them in 2021 that ultimately did, and the Chargers have an up-and-coming star quarterback in Justin Herbert. All three of these teams were aggressive with the moves they made this offseason, and the fourth team in the division, the Denver Broncos, added 9-time Pro Bowl quarterback Russell Wilson to their team, and it brings me to this. The AFC West in 2022 may be the best division from a one-year standpoint, and really the future looks very bright for the AFC West ever assembled. And before we thoroughly dive into the AFC West, I want to give a big shout out to today's sponsor, Prize Picks. Prize Picks is an easy way to play daily fantasy sports and is available in most US states. There are countless stats you can choose from for a player for their upcoming game. They even have the NFL Week 1 props out as well as season props, and I'll be choosing Justin Jefferson over 99.5 receptions as he's my guy and that's a fun prop to root for, under 102.5 receptions for Devontae Adams because there are a ton of mouths to feed in Vegas, not because Tay is a bad player or anything like that, and over 75.5 receptions for Jamar Chase, as guys, that's less than 5 per game. And if all of these hit, a simple $10 entry would net me $50. If you sign up for Prize Picks using code ANALYSIS, you will receive a 100% deposit match up to $100. Click the link in the description below, and again, a big thank you to Prize Picks, and now breaking down perhaps the best division of all time. And when looking at this division, and to make this bold of a claim, there has to be talent from top to bottom, and obviously there is. The only outcome that I do not see happening this year with the AFC West is if the Kansas City Chiefs finish in last place. That's it. That is truly the only outcome I don't see happening, and anything else is fair and within the realm of possibilities. Could the Raiders win the division? Yes. Could the Broncos, Chargers, or Chiefs win the division? Again, yes. And when you look at all-time great teams such as the 07 Patriots, who we know ultimately lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl, but finished the season 16-0 and were the highest scoring offense in NFL history to date, you didn't have to look very far as to why this division that year is nowhere near this discussion. Miami had the number 1 overall pick and selected tackle Jake Long from Michigan, but the Kansas City Chiefs have been to 4 straight AFC Championship games, and sure, they lost Tyreek Hill this offseason, and I'm not trying to imply that that's a light loss, because obviously it is not, but they replaced him with Juju Smith-Schuster, who in a lot of ways is like a faster tight end, and with Tyreek not being there, the Chiefs are naturally not going to be as explosive of an offense. I mean, you can't go out and replace Tyreek Hill with the snap of a finger or just say, hey, McCole Hardman, you're fast, go be Tyreek, because it does not work like that. But the Chiefs will have future Hall of Famer Travis Kelce, Juju, McCole, and of course rookie Sky Moore. Their offense is insanely good, and one thing that's kind of lost with the Chiefs is people seem to have this idea that they're soft because they pass the football a lot, and that's simply not true. The soft part, that is, because they obviously pass a lot. They have a very good offensive line with Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey in the interior, and sure, they may not be the Indianapolis Colts, but how often do you see the Chiefs truly, and I mean truly, get out-muscled over the course of a game and lose because of that exact reason? Not often, and when they do, like in Super Bowl 55 for example, they address the hell out of it immediately and it's taken care of. As of now, I do think the Chiefs are going to win the division, but again, it is certainly not set in stone. And next is the Las Vegas Raiders, a team who is expected to take a step this year, and with everything they did this offseason, how could you not think they're going to be a much improved football team? This team had everything happen to them last year that could, as the Henry Ruggs incident occurred, then the John Gruden incident occurred, and it would have been very, very easy and quite understandable as well for them to roll over and be like, you know what, screw this shit, this season is done, and it's not meant to be for us this year. we'll get him next year. But they fought and fought and fought and nearly beat the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincy in the wild card round of the playoffs. And they traded for one of the best receivers in the entire NFL this offseason in Davante Adams, while still having a receiver that went for 100 catches and 1,000 yards last year in Hunter Renfrow. They also have one of the biggest mismatches at tight end in all of football in Darren Waller. The only position on the offense I think you could say they're lacking is the running back position, as they did not pick up Josh Jacobs' fifth-year option, and he's not bad by any means, but he certainly does not wow you the way the other players on the offense do. And from the defensive side of the ball, they have one of the best pass rushers in the NFL in Max Crosby, and added Chandler Jones this offseason, who has inferred a large reason why he wanted to play for the Raiders was to play opposite Mad Max. And the Derek Carr talks of them trading him or drafting his replacement pretty much fizzled out this offseason, and for good reason. He played his ass off last year and made several big time throws, and there is nothing to suggest that will change in 2022. Carr is a very good quarterback and took a step last year, and expect the rest of the team to buy in even more heading into this season. Davante Adams, of all players, wanted to play with Derek Carr, and that speaks volumes. I think the biggest thing with the 2022 Raiders is you cannot count them out of any game they play in, because you look at this roster and ask, where's the hole? Like every team, they're going to have some deficiencies in some areas, but for a team that nearly beat the AFC representative in the Super Bowl in the postseason, to adding Davante Adams and Chandler Jones for a measly first and second round pick, they're going to be much improved. The one thing that does concern me with them, though, is how bad they were stomped on by Big Brother last year in the Kansas City Chiefs. There is no chance that happens again, but it is worth noting as that is the most recent time these teams played, and there were 2 spankings at that. I like the Raiders' outlook, and they most definitely contribute to this being an extremely loaded division. And the Los Angeles Chargers are up, and with them it starts with quarterback Justin Herbert, who has been nothing short of a superstar since entering the league in 2020. Chargers fans have fun with this, knowing he has more passing touchdowns in his first 2 years than Patrick Mahomes had in his first 2 years, and Chiefs fans, you guys obviously know why that is, of course, but this is a very complete team. And like with every team, there is of course some holes on the roster, as not every team will be littered with 22 Pro Bowlers, right? But take a player they have on their team in Austin Eckler, for example. He has his flaws in his own rights, and his backup complements him perfectly in rookie Isaiah Spiller. The Chargers have not one, but 2 good pass rushers in Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack, and while Khalil didn't have the best season in 2021 in Chicago, please remember he is just now 31 years old. There's no reason to think the Chargers can't get 3 good years out of him before he really gets up there in age at the 34 going on 35 mark. But for now, that is not a concern. Keenan Allen is a stud, and so is Mike Williams, and they look even better when what we project to be a probable future league MVP throwing them the football. They also went out and got corner J.C. Jackson this offseason in free agency from the New England Patriots, and another reason why that's a key signing, not just because he's a good football player, but they signed him from a team that made the playoffs over them last season. So it's a double positive. The Chargers get a lot better at the corner position, and in some ways they cripple another team that they will have to go through this year to get into the dance. And the Chargers certainly did not forget that either. What genuinely sucks for them is only one team can win the division, but make no mistake about it, they are an insanely talented group from top to bottom, and it starts with 1-0. And Justin is an absolute stud. And we are discussing the Denver Broncos last, not because we think they're going to finish last in the division, but if you didn't pick up, we were going in order of how they finished based on their 2021 record. The Broncos have seemingly been a quarterback away for quite a while now, and they addressed that in a huge way this offseason by adding future Hall of Fame quarterback Russell Wilson. And this division, from a talent perspective, has the best top-to-bottom quarterbacks we've ever seen. Given that one team can only make the Super Bowl, it truly would not surprise me when the 2023 Pro Bowlers are announced. It's the AFC West quarterbacks as the 3 Pro Bowlers within the AFC because the other team made the Super Bowl. And Denver also added some pass rush this offseason, and we want Bradley Chubb to stay healthy, of course, but aside from Chubb, have Randy Gregory to rush the quarterback. They added one of my favorite pass rushers in the draft, Nick Benito from Oklahoma, and when it's 3rd and long this year in that dreaded AFC West, and you know the other team is throwing the football, it's going to be scary for opposing offensive lines to have to block Chubb, Gregory, and Benito, and it would not surprise me even in the slightest if Nick walks into a 10 or 11 sack rookie season, because he will more than likely be fresh all game as a rotational rusher. I love the AFC West, and as we record this, we are in late June, and guys like you, I cannot wait for the season to get here, and we're at the point where it's not that far away. And with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Again, a big thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring, and until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed, and as always, please be safe and have a great rest of your day. Love you guys.